I think what's important to know is what gets measured gets managed. I do not see the workplace violence as the number one cause of loss. Rather, it is severely underreported. And it goes back to the definition of workplace violence incidents. I can tell you that I have organizations talk to me about their workplace violence, and they'll argue with me over how to code and categorize and define this type of incident. We can agree that when we get kicked and we get bit and we get punched and headbutted by someone who's rather cognitively awake, that that will be a workplace violence incident. But once we apply any type of medication, procedure, surgical process, and those same things happen, they don't want to call that a workplace violence incident. And they'd rather categorize that as the cost of doing business. That's how people react at times when they're under procedures and medications. And so, one of the challenges is I think there's a very unclear, agreed upon definition of what should go into that cost. But obviously, the 30 billion is out there. There are some direct costs that we can correlate that those are incidents, but I think it's even bigger than that number. So, the loss of those people, the restaffing, the high HR cost to put them back in a new position, new associates, it's also underneath that 30 billion, the indirect costs. But you asked, is it possible to prevent them? It absolutely is possible to prevent them. So we start with hierarchy of decision making and safety that is engineering. And then we move down to substitution. Are there other things? Are there people that can work with them? Then we move to administrative controls. So there's means to hierarchically make decisions for prevention. And I don't think that that infrastructure and that knowledge is always staffed in healthcare organizations. So again, another benefit of why of having brokers staffing these resources to entities is because we simply do not have the professional staff with safety engineering training within the institutions of healthcare, especially when you get outside of acute care. Rarely do I work with another safety professional. So often we work with HR generalists.